All right, everyone, get ready because today we are taking a deep dive into whole home weatherization,
Yes.
especially for those of you in Columbia, South Carolina.
Right.
And, you've been doing your research and you really want to know, is attic and crawl space solutions the best in town?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is the question, and we're going to find out. We've got articles about weatherization benefits, some info right from their website, some blog titles that caught your eye, and we've even got some customer reviews to really get a feel for what people are saying about them. So let's see if they live up to the hype.
It's interesting, the research you've gathered really does focus on attics and crawl spaces, kind of those unsung heroes, right, of energy
It's
efficiency.
like they're saying, don't forget about us down here.
Exactly.
But before we get into the nitty-gritty of attics and crawl spaces, I think we need to back up a little bit and give everybody, weatherization 101. So help me out here. What exactly is whole home weatherization? Like, what's the big picture?
I love that question. You can think of it like this. Your home is a fortress, right? And it's battling the elements outside.
Okay.
Whole home weatherization is like reinforcing those walls, plugging up leaks.
Uh,
It's about making your home work with the environment, not against it.
I like that, making it a fortress,
Mm-hmm.
especially, against that South Carolina heat.
Yeah.
But what are the, building blocks? What does weatherization actually involve?
So it's a multi-pronged approach. Insulation is key, of course.
Yeah.
Think of insulation like a cozy sweater for your house, keeping the heat in during the winter and the cool air in during the summer.
Okay.
We also want to make sure we're air sealing, so we're plugging up all those sneaky leaks around windows and doors. And then we don't want to forget about ventilation. That's ensuring fresh air is circulating, but it's not compromising your home's thermal envelope.
So it's like a careful dance between, sealing things up tight and then letting the right amount of air in. Sounds like it could get complicated.
It can. And that's why an energy audit, and I know you had some information on that in your research, is really important. It's like a blood test for your house. A professional will come in, they'll assess insulation levels, pinpoint air leaks, and even check the health of your HVAC system.
So, okay, once you've got that energy diagnosis for your house, then the real work begins. But, let's be honest. Most people aren't weatherizing just for the fun of it. What's in it for me? Besides, obviously a lower energy bill.
Well, and that lower energy bill could be significant. Your research suggests anywhere from 10 to 50% savings,
Wow.
which could be hundreds of dollars back in your pocket each year.
Okay. All right, now you're talking. So besides the money, what else? Spill the beans. I'm ready for the good stuff.
Okay, well, picture this. It's the middle of summer in Colombia.
Hot.
It is hot, the sun is blazing, but inside your home, it's a cool oasis. You don't have to sweat it out. You're not cranking up the AC, running up that energy bill.
Okay, I'm liking this.
And speaking of air, whole home weatherization can actually improve the quality of the air you breathe indoors.
Really? How does that work?
So by sealing up the leaks, controlling ventilation, you're reducing dust, mold, and allergens,
Oh.
which is huge for anyone with allergies or respiratory issues.
That makes a big difference.
Okay.
All right, I am sold on this. Comfy, healthy home and a lower energy bill. Sign me up. Now, I want to talk about attic and crawl space solutions because they're all over your research here.
Yes.
And, it seems like they're really making a name for themselves in Colombia. So what's the deal with them?
Well, they're local and family-owned,
Okay.
which is always a plus. It means they're really invested in the community and they want to do right by their neighbors.
Not some big faceless corporation. It's like people you might run into at the grocery store. I like that. What else?
Their website mentions they have a residential home builder license. So they're not just, handymen. They really understand building science and construction practices. And get this, they're also Building Performance Institute certified.
No, that's a mouthful. What does that even mean?
So the Building Performance Institute, BPI, is a national organization, and they set the standards for energy efficiency in buildings. Having those certified professionals on their team really shows that Attic and Crawl Space Solutions is committed to using, best practices, the latest technologies, really to make homes more energy efficient.
Okay, so they've got the credentials.
Yeah.
They've got that local touch. But what about their actual work? Do they walk the walk?
Well, some of the blog titles on their website really caught my eye. We saw cutting energy bills in half,
Okay.
And the ROI of weatherization, it seems like they're really not shy about touting those benefits. And you've got some glowing customer testimonials, too.
Ooh, let's hear about those testimonials. Everybody
Okay.
loves a good
Oh.
success story.
So people are raving about their expertise, their professionalism, and how much money they've saved on their energy bills. There's even one customer who said they were able to turn their thermostat down several degrees in the winter and still stay warm and cozy.
That's the dream. Especially in South Carolina, when those energy bills can really sting in the summer. But okay, let's get back to your original big question. Are they the best in Colombia?
Well, it's tough to, crown a champion without comparing them to the other contenders, right?
Sure.
But based on what we've learned so far, they've got a lot going for them. Strong qualifications, a customer-centric approach, and that laser focus on attics and crawl spaces.
Sounds promising. But wouldn't it be smart to compare them to a few other companies in Colombia before we, make a final decision?
Absolutely. We need to see how they stack up against the competition because you're right. The best company is really subjective and depends on, your individual needs and your budget.
Okay, I am very intrigued. I want to dig a little deeper now into this whole attic and crawl space
Yeah.
situation. Because, why are these areas so important for energy efficiency?
Think of your attic and crawl space like the bookends of your home's thermal envelope.
Okay.
They're really the first line of defense against the elements. And if they're not properly sealed and insulated, then they can be a major source of energy loss.
So if they're drafty, it's like having holes in that sweater letting all the heat escape.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But what makes attic and crawl space solutions, experts in attics and crawl spaces?
Well, it looks like from their website and your research that they specialize in these often neglected spaces. They understand how moisture, insulation, ventilation all play a role in creating a healthy and energy efficient environment.
They're not just like slapping some insulation up there and calling it a day.
Yeah,
They're taking a more holistic approach.
exactly.
I like it. But how much of an impact can these upgrades really have on my overall energy savings? Is it worth focusing on these areas, or should I be prioritizing, say, wall insulation first?
That's a great question, and it's one that we should investigate further. But before we do that, I think we have to talk about the elephant in the room, cost.
Yeah, let's be real. This whole home weatherization thing sounds like it could get pricey.
You're right, it can be a significant investment up front, but remember, it's an investment that pays off over time. It's a long-term savings plan for your home and your wallet.
Okay, so what are the main factors that influence the cost?
The size of your home, that's a big one.
Hmm.
The larger the house, the more materials, the more labor it's going to require. Then there's the scope of the work. Are we talking basic insulation upgrades or a complete overhaul of your HVAC system?
Uh,
And of course, the specific upgrades that you choose will impact the price as well.
But wait, there might be some financial assistance available, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw something about government programs and utility rebates.
Yes, you're right. There are programs like the Weatherization Assistance Program, WP, and the Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, LIHEAP, that provide assistance to homeowners. And a lot of utility companies offer rebates and incentives for making energy efficient upgrades as well.
So it's worth doing some digging, seeing what kind of help is out there.
Absolutely. Always a good idea to explore your options, make the most of those resources.
Okay, so don't let the initial cost scare you away. Think of it as an investment in your home's comfort, health, and energy efficiency.
Right.
And it's an investment that could potentially pay for itself in the long run.
Precisely. Shifting your perspective from expense to investment.
I like that. So we've laid some groundwork, and we've got a glimpse of what attic and crawl space solutions offers. They seem to have the experience, the credentials, the customer love. But are they truly the best in Colombia?
The plot thickens.
It does. We've got more digging to do.
Yeah.
Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get really interesting as we dive deeper into this weatherization mystery.
I can't wait. Remember that question you had about those crawl space and attic upgrades?
Oh, yeah, yeah. If they're really worth it compared to, like beefing up your wall insulation.
Right. Well, your research suggests that crawl spaces, especially in, well, a humid place like Colombia, can be real breeding grounds for moisture problems.
Ugh, moisture problems in the South. Color me shocked. But how does that tie into energy efficiency?
Well, just think about it. Moisture in your crawl space can lead to mold, mildew,
Oh, yuck.
even wood rot. It compromises the structural integrity of your home, and it creates an unhealthy environment.
So not only is it bad for your home's health, but it's also affecting the air quality inside.
Yeah.
Double yuck.
Exactly.
But how does this relate to, my energy bill?
Well, all that damp, musty air from your crawl space can actually seep up into your living areas, and that makes your HVAC system work harder just to maintain a comfortable temperature.
It's like having this little swamp monster under your house, sucking up energy and spitting out bad vibes.
That's a great way to put it.
So sealing up those crawl spaces could make a big difference.
Huge difference. By encapsulating your crawl space, you're creating this barrier against moisture, pests, and those energy-sucking drafts. It's like you're giving your house a dry, healthy foundation to stand on.
Okay, I'm starting to see why attic and crawl space solutions might be onto something with their specialized approach.
Right.
But what about attics? They seem pretty straightforward. You just, pump them full of insulation, right?
Well, not so fast. Attics can be tricky.
Okay.
They're often poorly ventilated, which means that heat gets trapped in the summer, so your AC has to work overtime. And then you've got all those little gaps and cracks around vents and light fixtures that can add up to a lot of energy loss.
So even if you've got a decent amount of insulation, if you have those sneaky air leaks, it's just sabotaging your efforts.
Exactly. And it looks like Attic and Crawlspace Solutions understands this. They emphasize not only insulation, but also air sealing and ventilation. They want to create a balanced system that optimizes energy efficiency.
It's like they're treating my attic like an ecosystem. Got to keep all the elements in harmony. But enough about attics and crawl spaces for now.
Okay.
Let's shift gears a little bit. I want to talk about something I saw mentioned in several of the articles. Energy audits.
Yes, energy audits are so important.
They're like taking your house to the doctor for a checkup.
Exactly.
But instead of checking your blood pressure and cholesterol, they're checking your insulation, air leaks, and HVAC health.
That's a great way to think about it.
So it's not just a walkthrough with a clipboard.
Yeah.
They're using some serious tech to get to the root of the problem. Like, what kind of equipment are we talking about here?
Oh, they might use a blower door test
Okay.
that measures air leakage and a thermal imaging camera.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really cool. They can detect insulation gaps and even a duct blaster to test for leaks in your HVAC system.
Wow, it's like CSI, energy efficiency.
It really is.
So they put your house through the ringer, then what happens?
Well, they'll give you a detailed report
Right.
outlining their findings and recommendations for improvements.
So it's like a personalized roadmap to energy saving.
I love that. Yes.
But what if some of the recommendations are, well, budget busters? What if I can't afford to do everything that they suggest?
Right. And that's a valid concern. But a good energy auditor, they'll work with you to prioritize the most cost-effective upgrades.
So they're not just throwing a bunch of expensive solutions at you. They're helping you find that sweet spot between affordability and impact.
Exactly. They can help you create a phased approach, tackle the most critical things first, and then work your way down the list as your budget allows.
That's reassuring because I was starting to sweat a little thinking about, the potential costs.
Right.
But I'm feeling a little more optimistic now.
That's the spirit. And remember, even small improvements, they can make a difference. It's all about taking those first steps on the path to energy efficiency.
Okay, so let's say I've had my energy audit, I've prioritized my upgrades, and I'm ready to take the plunge. What should I be looking for in a contractor?
That is the million-dollar question. Finding a reputable and qualified contractor is crucial to the success of your project.
And there are so many companies out there. It can be tough to know where to start. So what advice would you give someone like me who's trying to navigate this whole weatherization world?
Well, first and foremost, look for experience. You want a company with a proven track record of successfully completing weatherization projects, and ideally in your area.
So local knowledge is key. A
Yeah.
company that understands the unique challenges of the Columbia climate.
Exactly. They should be familiar with local building codes, energy efficiency standards, and any available rebates and incentives that are out there.
Okay, experience, check. What else?
Credentials. Look for certifications from reputable organizations like the Building Performance Institute, BPI.
Okay.
A BPI certification, that means their technicians have undergone rigorous training and testing. They've demonstrated their expertise.
So it's like checking their diplomas. Makes sense. Anything else?
Don't underestimate the power of a good reputation.
Word of mouth is golden.
It is. Check online reviews. Ask for references. Talk to people who have actually used the company before.
What kind of red flags should I be looking out for?
Be wary of companies that offer, unrealistically low prices or make promises they can't keep.
Right. If it sounds too good to be true, It probably is.
Yeah.
What about customer service?
Yes, the human touch is so important. A good weatherization company is going to be responsive.
Right.
They'll answer your questions, and they'll keep you informed throughout the entire process.
They should treat you like a valued customer, not just a number.
Exactly. And be willing to work with you, to find solutions that meet your needs and your budget.
Okay, so I've got my checklist: experience, credentials, reputation, customer service, anything else.
Don't forget about the details.
Okay.
Make sure the company offers a comprehensive warranty on their work and that their contract clearly outlines the scope of the project, materials used, payment terms, all that good stuff.
So it's all about protecting yourself and making sure that you're getting what you paid for.
Absolutely.
And speaking of getting what you paid for, let's circle back to attic and crawl space solutions. They seem to check a lot of those boxes.
They do.
But I'm still a little skeptical. Are they really the best in Colombia? Or are we just caught up in the hype?
I think that's a great question. And to answer it, we need to, dig a little deeper into their specific services, their pricing structure, and how they handle those customer interactions. At the end of the day, the best company for you is the one that fits your needs like a glove.
Okay, let's put them under the microscope. I'm ready to see what they're really made of.
Me too. Let's do it.
Okay, so we've gone through their credentials. We've really analyzed their approach. We've even peeked into some satisfied customers' homes. But the big question remains, is attic and crawl space solutions truly the best choice for whole home weatherization in Columbia, South Carolina?
Well, based on everything we've learned, they certainly seem to have a strong case. I mean, their focus on those often overlooked areas, the attics and crawl spaces, that's a major plus.
Yeah, it's like they've carved out this niche for themselves.
Yeah.
Tackling those, hidden energy vampires that other companies might miss.
Right, exactly. And their commitment to using this holistic approach, addressing moisture, insulation, ventilation, all those things, it's really impressive.
Yeah, they're not just like patching holes. They're creating this healthy, energy-efficient ecosystem within your home.
Yeah.
I like that. But let's talk about the bottom line, pricing. What about their pricing?
Right. Well, as we talked about before, the cost of weatherization, it can vary widely depending on, the size of your home, the scope of the work, and the specific upgrades that you need. It's tough to say for sure if they're the most affordable without getting a personalized estimate.
But their website does mention free estimates, so there's no harm in just, reaching out and getting a detailed quote.
Exactly. And while you're at it, why not reach out to a couple of other reputable companies in Colombia and compare?
Yeah. That's a great idea. A little healthy competition never hurts, right? It gives us a better benchmark for evaluating attic and crawl space solutions.
Exactly. Compare pricing, their services, their overall approach. How do they stack up against the rest?
All right, so we're not quite ready to declare them the champion just yet. We need a little more intel.
Yeah, it's like the final round of our weatherization investigation.
I like it. But in the meantime, I think we should shift our focus a little bit to something that can be just as important as the technical aspects, the customer experience.
Oh, absolutely. The human touch. At the end of the day, you're not just hiring a company, you're inviting these people into your home to work on, one of your most valuable assets.
And based on the testimonials and online reviews we've seen, it seems like attic and crawl space solutions really excels in this area.
Yeah, people seem to be raving about their professionalism, their communication, their attention to detail. It seems like they really go above and beyond to make sure their customers are happy.
Yeah, it's like they're treating each home as if it were their own. And that level of care and dedication, that can make all the difference.
It really can.
So, even if their pricing isn't the absolute lowest, that commitment to quality and customer satisfaction might be worth a little extra investment.
It really comes down to, weighing your priorities and finding the company that best aligns with your values.
Okay, so what are some key questions that our listeners should ask themselves as they consider attic and crawl space solutions?
Yeah, I think some good things to think about are, does their specialization in attics and crawl spaces, does that really align with your home's needs? Do their values resonate with you?
Okay.
Do you feel confident in their expertise and experience?
Those are all really great questions. But ultimately, the best way to know if attic and crawl space solutions is the right fit for you is to reach out to them directly.
Definitely. Schedule a free consultation, ask all those burning questions, and trust your gut.
And while you're at it, why not get quotes from a couple of other companies too? Just to compare.
Excellent idea. Always wise to compare your options before making that final decision.
All right, so we have explored the ins and outs of whole home weatherization. Everything from those technical aspects to the financial benefits, the environmental impact.
Yes.
We've taken a close look at attic and crawl space solutions, a company that seems to be making waves here in Colombia.
It's been a fascinating journey. I hope our listener is feeling empowered and informed.
Absolutely. Now, before we wrap up, I want to leave our listener with a little something to think about.
Hmm.
As you're embarking on your weatherization adventure, so imagine you've taken the plunge, you've invested in the upgrades, and now you're basking in the glow of this comfortable, energy-efficient home. What are you going to do with all those extra
Oh,
resources?
I love that.
The money you saved, the energy you conserved, the peace of mind that you've gained, will you finally take that dream vacation?
Yes.
Will you invest in a new hobby or give back to your community in some way? The possibilities are endless.
That is such a great point. It's about so much more than just saving energy, right? It's about creating a home and a lifestyle that aligns with your values.
And, who knows, maybe attic and crawl space solutions will be the partner that helps you achieve those goals.
I hope so.
But, as always, the power to choose is in your hands. Do your research, ask those questions, trust your gut.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive. It's been a pleasure exploring this topic with you.
The pleasure was all mine.
And as always, keep those brains buzzing. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.